Hello and welcome back to the FPL Tom preview stream ahead of Game Week 33. Now we are a little bit late and Jake's got some answering to do for that, some dog shit related stuff, some train related stuff, but eventually we are here. Jake, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good, although I don't know if I can account for the 3 minutes late that we are now.
Oh, that's all on me. That's all on me, lad. That's all on me.
Yeah, no, yeah. Adjusting to a new life has hit me right in the face. But I promise it won't happen again.
No, it's fine. We can always just push the stream back to like 7:30. Works better for both of us.
Yeah, true. Very true.
You know what I mean? Maybe it works better for the audience as well. Maybe they're, a little bit
Well, this
rushed.
probably gives the New Zealanders like an extra hour in bed.
Exactly. That's basically what we've done. We've helped everyone out. We've given them that extra hour in bed. So in reality, it's a pretty good thing we've done, to be honest.
Exactly.
Exactly. I can already see we've got two people in the chat already. We've got Louise, who I was speaking to earlier on Twitter. We'll answer your question in a little while, my friend. And Jamie, one of the regulars. He put, "You're late and I'm about 20 minutes earlier than usual." See, it's working. Maybe the 7:30 starts where it's at, to be honest, mate.
Yeah, sounds like it. It does sound like it. So maybe we should make that a regular thing, but let's be serious. Something will come up and it'll be earlier or later or a Thursday or a Sunday.
Yeah,
And then
it's
even when we're on top of it, the football decides to force us to do it at a weird time.
true. Very true on that one. Before we get into our teams for this week, I'm going to talk about challenge. How'd you get on this week? Did you do all right?
Not really, not as well as I should have done because I didn't have Bruno and I didn't have Diaz.
Uh,
I went for weirdly different people.
okay.
Um, I had Harvey Elliott and he
Okay.
got an assist.
All right.
So that did all right. I believe I captained Salah, so I think that will have done me quite well. I think I got like early to mid 60s. Um, but speaking to friends, people were pushing 90 or 100, so I don't really feel like I did excellently. I don't know how I did in the league. Have you got that up?
Yeah, I'm just loading it up now on my phone because my laptop is having a stroke. Just doesn't want to
Nice.
work. Yeah, no. What's going on with that? We're gonna restart that. See if I can get that to work later in the
Yeah,
stream.
I don't think anyone bar those like big doublers for Liverpool United this week did anything special.
Oh,
I, go on.
shout out to Louise who's in the chat. He got the top score, 105.
Wow, who did he captain?
He captained Salah. He had Luis Diaz. He had Clivert, Darwin, Hoyland, who must have picked up an assist. Oh, no, double points. Mikolenko, like me, 8 Nori. So some pretty good picks in there.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, very nice indeed. So shout out to him. Like we said, we will be giving a shout out to each of the FPL Challenge kind of winners of our mini league. If you do want to join that, there's the code flying around somewhere. It'll be
Oh
somewhere.
well, I didn't even have Harvey Elliott. I literally
Oh,
had Stinky Stinksville, and then I had Salah captain, which saved me a little bit. I had Haaland,
mm.
and then I had Ped Porro on the bench.
Fair enough. Fair enough. What do you think about this week's challenge? It's a bit of a stinker,
I
isn't
think
it?
it stinks of a 3-5-2 formation
Mm,
or a 3-4-3, something with as minimal defense as possible.
mm.
Uh, I mean, for people that don't know, I think it's -2 for a yellow. Or is it -4 for a yellow?
Minus
-8.
five for a yellow, -8 for a red card.
That's it. So red cards, I feel like it's just harsh luck. But I feel like you've got it. Just I think it's not who you bring in; it's the people you don't bring in. So I feel like the likes of Romero,
Mm.
like come to mind.
But who would
He
have
is.
Romero?
You what? Sorry.
Who would have Romero realistically?
Well, that's what I mean. But on like on a week where maybe you'd want to bank on defensive capabilities and clean sheets and maybe goals from defenders. Maybe if the challenge was goals from centre halves who keep a clean sheet and Spurs are playing at home to like Luton, you
Mm.
might bank on it. You might just go, screw it, let's just go with him as well. But he's more than likely to get a yellow card.
True.
Um, but yeah, I feel like it's one of those really. I think other than that, I think midfield and striker options, you've kind of just got to meet it at face value, look at the fixtures and go for what you would do on any other week and just hope for the best, really.
Yeah, I think it would have been a better challenge if you got points for yellow cards and red cards.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, yeah, I like that. if it was like an extra 2 points for a yellow and 4 for a red.
Yeah, because then everyone's team would be filled with like the Romeros, like a Rodri, all these types of players that you never would usually own in FPL, but it gives Challenge that unique perspective.
Yeah.
I feel that would have been a better alternative.
Yeah, you'd have like a midfield three of Rodri, Caicedo, and Ender.
Exactly. It'd be brilliant.
No, I like that. Well, maybe that's something. Maybe if anyone is secretly watching from the challenge creators, maybe that's something they'll take on board, because I don't think they've actually announced what's happening next week yet.
No, not announced what's happening next week yet, so we'll keep our eyes peeled for that one. But I know the overall reception for this one, pretty poor. And I think it does make sense, because you're not realistically going to be going for players that get yellow cards and red cards anyway. It just seems like pure luck rather than a skill-based thing. I feel like if we'd flipped it on its head and did what I suggested, I think that'd be a lot more fun.
Yeah, agreed. That's a very good show.
Cool. Well, like we said, if anyone from the FPL team is watching, you want to credit this beautiful face, go for it. Go for it. That'd be great. Right, let's move on and let's start off with our award. I haven't updated the slide. It is Bed Shitter of the Week. I mean, Connor Bradley's still an okay shout, but he wasn't the one that I did have on here. I think I had Gvardiol and somebody else. Let me see if I can do this. Let's see if I can do it mid-stream, if I can update the slide. If I do this, genius. There we go. Like nothing ever happened. It is Gusto and it is Gvardiol on the kind of thumbnail for Bed Shitter of the Week. But Jake, I'm going to ask you, who do you think stank it up in Game Week 33?
Mine was Gusto, and I'm going to stick with Gusto because I'm intrigued to know your shout for Gvardiol.
Yep.
But I think for Gusto, it speaks for itself. We hyped him up. I brought him in. I'm pretty sure you either brought him in or had him in.
Had him in.
Yeah, and I feel like he'd be highly brought in. He's highly rated. He's in good form, and they're playing Sheffield United. And not only did Chelsea not do very well against Sheffield and conceded, he didn't even play. So, I mean, I think that was just a bit of a bummer for a lot of people when they saw he was benched.
Well, not even benched, not even in the squad, was he?
Oh, was he not? Fair
No,
enough.
not in the squad.
Well, there you go then. So yeah, I think just for all the hype that he had, for him to not play was a bit of a kick to the teeth for many owners, especially when it was Sheffield. I mean, I know the result would have stunk a little bit as well, and he may have made himself in this bed shitter had it finished 2-2 and he'd played the full 90. So who knows?
True.
But it could have been a whole different game if he'd played. You never know. But yeah, I'm going to go for him. There were a few that I was thinking about, like the likes of like Son and Palmer and Aït-Nouri. All three of them got an assist. But I feel like everyone was just a little bit hopeful that more would happen. I think a lot of people captained Palmer.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people backed Son, expected some kind of return from Son. An assist is all right, but when you've got your centre-half and your right-back scoring the winning goals, you're like, oh, come on, Young. So yeah, that was a soccer. And then, of course, Aït-Nouri winning the penalty, so getting the assist and then getting subbed off before the 60th minute. And it looked like at that point they were going to hold on for a 1-0 win. Of course, that changed. But who knows if that would have been the same had he played on.
Sure.
Or who knows if he just stuck out until the 60th minute before he got subbed off. That would have been nice, but it wasn't to be. So they were all honourable mentions, but I am going to go for Gusto.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. It depends who you had coming off your bench. I feel that kind of skews your perception on whether or not Gusto missing out was a good thing or a bad thing. For me personally, I had Branthwaite coming off the bench with 6 points. So Chelsea finishing 2-2, in hindsight, very good thing. For other people,
I think also a lot of people had Saka as well coming off the bench.
Yeah, some people had Saka. Some people I know had Doherty coming off the bench, and obviously he finished with like 1 point in the end. So it obviously depends who you had coming off your bench. I feel that influences that one. For me, I'm going to go for the man on the screen because he was the other big candidate that I thought of. It is Gvardiol. A lot of people were looking at City defenders with their double game week coming up in game week 37. Some positive fixtures after double game week 34 as well. He was on my shortlist as well. Him, Akanji, and some other City defenders as well I was potentially identifying. But Gvardiol came off at half-time, got a yellow card in the first half, so finished on 0 points. And then I think to rub salt in the wounds, went and scored that absolutely blinding goal last night in the Champions League as well, just to kind of rub it in owners' faces a little bit there. So I've gone for Gvardiol. I think Gusto should win this poll and probably will win it, but I think he's just a good mention as well.
Yeah, good shout. I get that. He'll if people have brought him in, he's probably going to get benched at the weekend, isn't he? Now,
Yeah.
So it's one of those really where you look at it long term. He's a bit of a. I think really he should have changed that animations just to Pep, to be honest.
Just Pep.
But he would be a nominee every week if that was the case.
True. I mean, Foden probably could have been a shout in here as well with him missing out, but again, depends who you had coming in. If it was Saka coming in, you're probably not going to complain about that one.
I feel like the one with Foden as opposed to Gusto like getting 0 points. The thing with Foden is I think everyone just is accepting, like everyone just accepts that is always a risk with Pep. I think it's hurting more now that he might actually be out this weekend because of his injury yesterday. So that's hurt a little bit. But yeah, with City players, unless it's Haaland and you expect it, and maybe to some extent, I think it's been a little bit weird. De Bruyne has not been playing quite as often. But even then, like when they aren't in the starting 11 if they aren't in the starting 11, you're like, what a bummer, but what a surprise. And then you kind of can bank on them not playing.
Yeah, I can get on board with that. Jamie's asked a very good question, and it's kind of been relevant to what we've been talking about. Best goal from last night. He's gone for Valverde's.
Yeah, I second that. Valverde's was class.
It was good. I think I'd go Foden's.
Foden just scored like anyone can do that.
Anyone could do that.
Valverde has hit that so sweet on the volley.
Yeah, he has. It is beautiful.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm going to go Valverde. There were some class goals last night.
There was indeed an exceptionally good goal.
Which was more of a penalty for Bayern or for Arsenal?
I'm gonna go for Bayern because he fully picks that ball up.
I don't understand how he's got away with that.
Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? You see it happen, and then you think, on another day that can be given.
It's also a little bit petty because I guess like it's one of those things where he should be very much told off. I saw in a tweet that arguably he's done it before. Like apparently he's done it before, which is a little bit worrying. But I think refs should definitely be aware of the fact that he's done it, in case he does it again, and then punish him. But I do kind of agree, as much as like rules are rules, I do kind of agree that it would be a bit of a bummer if that's what decided the game, because really he picks the ball up. He's not really wasted that much time.
No.
But on the base of the law, that's a stonewall penalty. But for sportsmanship, you can kind of understand why it was overlooked.
True. All right, let's move away from Champions League football and head back to game week 32. 59 points for you in the end, Jake. Talk us through what went well, what didn't go quite so well this game week.
What's happened here? 59.
Right. 59.
What do you want?
I've got 56. Oh, sorry, lad. 50. Let you talk. I'll update the graphic. There we go.
So I got 56 because I think I got 60, but took a -4 is what I believe is what's happened there.
There we go.
I would have understood why you put 60 on there.
Yeah.
But 59 is an interesting one. Maybe I got an extra point yesterday for something. But yeah, it's back. It's not back to the same old Jake. It's just classic my luck. When I go a little bit extra, because of course I took a -4, brought in Aït-Nouri and Gusto. I was part of the Gusto train where it really did not, it derailed pretty much.
Yeah.
Aït-Nouri didn't help, but at least he got a clean sheet. And now, like as you can see, he's got a flag on him, which is brilliant. Gibbs White, flag on him. Didn't even realise that until I've just opened the app. Foden, of course, yesterday I was a little bit worried about. I didn't expect him to really. I don't really expect him to play this weekend anyway. So now the fact that he's got a knock and went off, I'd be very surprised if Pep rushed him back in. When he will take any excuse to drop a player when they're in top form. So I think the injuries are the biggest sucker punch to my week, because I got just under the average. Probably a little bit more under the average of the game week or whatever. You tried to explain it to me a few months ago. You don't have to go through it again, but
All right.
yeah, it was a little bit underwhelming, but at least the captain, the right person. I mean, I know I had Watkins, but I never really thought about it. It was between the three in midfield that aren't covered by a flag. And I picked the right midfielder at least to captain. Yeah, glad that I've got Watkins. I'm just having a look actually.
Yeah.
One, two. Oh, I took Oh no, I didn't take. No, ignore me, ignore me. I was like, did I take a -8 for Watkins? No, I've had him on the bench because he was an injury doubt, wasn't he? And then last minute, I just brought him in.
Yeah.
I was one of those that had the fortune of having Doherty come in for Gusto, getting me a nice 2 points. But yeah, overall, nothing really to talk about except for the fact that I'm happy Salah scored, as he always seems to at Old Trafford. Happy with Watkins and just a little bit concerned about what I'm going to do this week.
Well, I think that leads us quite nicely on, mate, to be honest, doesn't it? To talk about your team for this week. I've lined it up the best that I can, I think, and I've captained Salah, but you talk me through what you'd actually do.
I think, as it looks, I think I'm going to make a transfer. I really am. As much as I've got all those flags, I'm really going to struggle not to bring Haaland in.
Yeah.
At home to Luton, he scored 4 or 5 or whatever he did in the cup. I know it was a cup game, but I can't see him like being kept out against Luton. They're going to be shitting themselves because of the performance he put in the cup. Forgive me, it was the cup. I'm not tripping.
Yeah, it was the FA Cup. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I feel like it is going to be time that I bring Haaland in. Whether I take out Watkins or not, I think it's most likely I will. I know he's just got 2 goals. I know he's always a threat, but I just don't like Villa's run. I don't know. I'm torn a little bit. The only alternative really, and it could be a blessing in disguise, is that I take yet another -4. I'd rather not. Considering the fact that I'm going to be free hitting next week. So I'm not sure. I'm a little bit torn because of all these little flags. I'm just going to hope that one of those flags turns out to be false.
Yeah.
Most likely, I'd say, is Gibbs White, just because I feel like even if Foden is fine, he will be benched. But I can't bring myself to take him out. I don't think. I think I'm not too sure, to be honest. But yeah, back 3, 4, not entirely like miserable about. I know the Bournemouth keepers against United, but it's one of those really. I'm not losing sleep about changing my goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Midfield 4 if Gibbs White plays. I've got a midfield 4 on mine, and I've got Watkins playing instead of Foden. That's the only actual difference, I think. Oh no, I've got 8 Nori swapped for a Stev. Is the 2 differences to what your animation is. So I've got Gusto, Duncan, Esteve with Neto and goal. It's one of those, really. I think the more I look at it, the more I talk about it, I'm a bit like, there's so many places I could make a substitution, a transfer, and that will benefit me. But at the same time, I feel like the bottom line is I need to get Haaland in for this weekend.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that point. I think Haaland probably, if he starts the game, he's probably going to score at some point, isn't he? He's probably,
at least once.
Yeah, at least once. He's probably also going to be the most captain player this week. I don't think there's any kind of doubt in saying that.
Yeah.
Good fixtures afterwards. Double game week 37 has been confirmed today as well, so that's all up to date on the website now as well, so you can see all those fixtures in there. Maybe if you wanted to take a -4, probably would be for like a Spurs defender. Obviously not this week's the best fixture, but double in 35, double in 37 as well. Like you've just got to play like the number of fixtures. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The only question I would have is the fact that this Champions League game is very nicely poised. City probably will be confident they'll go and win now they're at home, like level.
Yeah.
But the one thing is, does he drop Haaland and play Alvarez because it's only Luton?
It's a very good point. It is genuinely a very good point. And I think what I might do after this stream is have a look. Does Haaland play after Champions League games?
I feel like in the past he would, but since his injury, he has been rested a little bit more than I would have expected. I think the only reason why I think I'd still bring Haaland in is just the Foden injury doubt.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense. In terms of other players, obviously you've mentioned that you're going to be free hitting next week, so all your transfers are probably going to be based. Well, they will be based post game week 34. Interesting one on 8 Nori. The update after the game was it was a precautionary injury due to a
Yeah.
calf strain. Now, hopefully, he's back for the weekend because I think that will give you another good player to have in your side rather than playing Steve from Burnley.
Yeah, definitely. That being said, though, Ain't Nori's coming up against the man in red hot form in Chris Wood, so
Hey, it doesn't matter though because Ain't Nori plays up front, so
that's very true.
Ain't Nori's just going to bag a hat trick himself. Chris Wood can score all he likes.
The left back / inverted forward.
Did you see any of the Wolves game or like any of the highlights or anything?
No, I imagine he was playing extremely high then.
He was basically like they had like basically like a striker, and then you know that formation on FIFA where there's like two cams behind the striker.
Yeah.
He was basically playing on the left side of that, and it was just like, what the hell's going off here with the defender?
Do they play Hugo Bueno as well?
I think so, yeah.
Because if that's the case, that makes sense. Because then they have got some kind of left fullback that can sit back a little bit more. Maybe they are simply playing Ain't Nori. I know Ain't Nori is hovering as a striker, but maybe he is not actually playing at left back at all.
Oh no, he's definitely not playing at left back anymore.
In that case, yeah, it's definitely a good person to have in at the moment if he's only a precautionary injury. Hopefully he plays, because if he does, I'd be pretty confident in him.
Well, according to FOTMob on their obviously team position graph, whatever it's called, lineup. There we go. Ain't Nori's playing at right, like the right cam position. They've got Semenyo and Doherty as the fullbacks.
Oh well, fair enough.
So yeah, Hugo Bueno at centre back. So he's just playing up front.
Well, he's been scoring, to be fair, and he's got the assist at the weekend, so all for it.
All for it, mate. All for it. Any final remarks about your team, Jake?
No. Would you bring in Haaland after I've given you that dilemma of is the Foden injury enough to bring him in, or are you a little bit concerned about him being benched? And also, if we get past that and you say yes to Haaland, would you take -4 and bring in a Pedporo or similar?
I think the -4 could pay off in the longer term with the fixtures coming up for Spurs. Interestingly, before his goal, he was the player who had the most shots and not scored a goal yet in the Premier League. So he is creating lots of opportunities. He's finally just got a little bit lucky and put one in. I definitely think he would be a good player to have going forward as well with the 2 double game weeks. You're basically getting 2 extra fixtures out of a player there, so that move makes sense to me.
Would you wait? You wait till game week 35, or
you could wait till game week 35.
Tricky games they've got this weekend.
Yeah, Tottenham, Newcastle. Sorry, Newcastle. Yeah, it's not the easiest place to go, is it? St James's Park, so probably could be worth the wait, to be honest. I think we should get team news for the City game. There's a lot of reliable kind of team leakers, so I reckon we might get news pre-deadline, and it could be the case where we find out if Haaland's playing or if Foden's playing.
Well, because the theory is if Haaland isn't going to play, or even if he is, lad, Ivan Toney has got Sheffield United at home and then Luton away.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know I'm free hitting, but after that, Everton away, Fulham home, Bournemouth away, and then finishing off with Newcastle at home. So even he could be a shout.
Yeah, 100% agree on that one. 100% agree on that one. Chris Wood is a player I wanted to ask you about quickly. Do you think maybe you'd bring him in?
Probably not, because of the fact that their fixtures aren't all plain sailing. They have got City and Chelsea to play. They've got some good greens. They've got Wolves this weekend. I also am a little bit concerned that Chris Wood's form may have just collapsed because he's got a bit too confident and twatted the ball, an open goal, against the woodwork. So that was a bit that was so stinky. That could have changed the game completely.
Mm.
He just needed more composure, needed to act like an actual striker, which he has been doing in such good form. But I watched that. He absolutely twatted it against the post when he just needed to dink it in. And I was just like, could that be the end of Chris Wood's season? Not like playing wise, but
Yeah.
I just feel like that may falter his form now.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Bashir is in the comments, one of our members. He says he's enjoying the stream from Uganda, and he also agrees with you that Valverde's goal was the best goal yesterday. So, you know, he's not my favourite anymore. So
Well, it's a mix between it's just a pick from a fucking good bunch of goals, so it's not like your shout's terrible.
100% agree with that. Do keep your questions coming in, and we will try to answer them throughout today's stream. We are going to move on to my team, though, unless Jake's got any final remarks regarding his team. Or you all good, mate?
Yep, all good, mate.
Wonderful stuff. We're going to move on to my team. Didn't do too bad this week. 59, just about beat Jake with his 56. I thought we got the same, but we didn't. Evidently, I was paying attention to something else. 59 in the end for me.
Whoa, you beat me, lad.
A slight red arrow this week. And I think that's kind of been the theme throughout this season. There hasn't been any sort of... I haven't even changed to my team. There we go. 59. There hasn't kind of been any consistency throughout the season, to be honest. It seems like get a good week, get a green arrow, and then we're back to kind of just mediocre or a big slamming red arrow. And that's kind of been the case this week. We got the captaincy decision right with Salah. Very happy that one went, because after that first half, me and you were texting each other and we were like, it's starting to get a little bit shaky here, to be honest, because it didn't look like Salah was going to score, but got the penalty. Very happy with that. 2 bonus points as well. He was the best captaincy option shout amongst the players that were discussed, him and Haaland. 8 Nori, like we spoke about with Bedshitter, was so close to something very special. If he'd have just lasted 5 more minutes, could have been on for a double-digit haul, potentially some bonus points in there as well, because he would have had the clean sheet locked in, regardless, like if he went off injured a few minutes later. But it is what it is. He picked up the assist. Isn't the end of the world. Branthwaite coming in for Gusto, got very fortunate on that one. Another clean sheet for Arsenal as well. I think even without the doubles coming up for them, they are still a really, really good defence to be targeting, because they seem very consistent in the Premier League at keeping clean sheets. Anthony Gordon was my transfer in for this week. Took him out. Brought him in, for Saka. So that one went well.
Top work from FPL Tom right there.
Top work, mate, because I predicted it in our group chat as well, didn't I? I said, and I watched the Fulham Newcastle game, and Anthony Gordon was terrific. Like, genuinely, that is probably up there with one of his best performances of the season. He puts a goal in there. That assist that he gets stands very easily his best performance of the season. But he only came away with 3 points. And I knew Saka was just going to get a gammy penalty and get 3 bonus out of it. And that's exactly what happened. But that's been the course of this season. I'm happy to have Anthony Gordon for the future run coming up for Newcastle and for their double game week, because he does look terrific and definitely a player I'm going to be quite strongly recommending for the next few weeks.
Yeah, agreed. I think it may have been, weirdly enough, 2 steps back and quite a few steps forward in the future. So I feel like you just gotta run with it.
Hopefully so. I think sometimes you do have to kind of switch off from just focusing on one week, which is obviously hard to do in FPL, but sometimes look at the course of kind of a few game weeks and maybe that decision will pay dividends. But we'll wait and see. What happens.
Sound.
A Turkey in a Bush has asked a question, another member of the channel. He says, Dallo or Gabriel? He's already got Onana in goal.
I think that means Gabriel, then I'd say.
Yeah, I'd probably go Gabriel. Right, let's move on to how my team is looking for this week. Put Jake back on there. Boom, done. This is how we're looking for this week. Petrovic, we are playing Gusto. I've heard absolutely no news about his injury yet, so he's going to start. Gabriel, 8 Noris in there. Palmer, Gordon, Son, Garnacho, you'll be happy to learn I'm playing this week.
What?
Salah, Isak and Haaland currently with the armband. And on the bench, Onana, Solanke, Branthwaite and Bradley. Yeah. Any changes you'd make there, Jake, off the bat from looking at that?
No, not necessarily. I mean, we did talk about this last week, I think, or a couple of weeks ago, that Solanke did score in the reverse fixture.
He did.
So that's just one place I'd maybe consider. You're going very strong on Newcastle against Spurs. That could really pay off. So I'm not going to talk you out of it. But of course, Isak at home to Spurs, Solanke home to United. I feel like both of them are pretty much a toss-up between who gets more points there. So I'm not going to talk you out of the Newcastle. I quite like that. And if anything, you're probably going to be a differential there if that work pays off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like it's a pretty solid team. Maybe swapping Branthwaite around with Bradley might be a worthwhile thing to do, just in case he plays and gets a nice clean sheet. But then I don't know. I don't know. I'm just nitpicking really, and I think you've gone for the strongest team. I think the only thing that you can maybe consider is whether Solanke is going to be a bagsman or not.
Yeah, that is
I feel like that bloody bench is Garnacho again, most likely.
Probably would bench Garnacho again, to be honest. It's just down to the fact that obviously he did score in the reverse, like you mentioned. A very impressive win for Bournemouth at Old Trafford as well. We'll come on to talk about some team stats, but United, interestingly, are bottom over the past 5 game weeks for XG conceded. I think they're 19th for shots faced this season. Dominic Solanke, if I remember off the top of my head, has a 47% probability of scoring as well this game week. Like, he's one of the top players predicted to score this week, and I've got him sat on my bench.
I'd probably play him ahead of Garnacho. I know I was singing Garnacho praise last week, but I think I would just put him in there ahead of him. I just thought I'd ask, do you want the good news or the bad news about Isak?
Oh, no. What's the bad news?
The bad news is it's a 12:30 kickoff.
That's fine. He's not my captain. Gandhi's not involved.
Okay. Well, the good news is, in the last time they played at St James's Park, he scored twice, and they won 6-1.
I remember that game. My dad came up for that game, and I watched it.
They were like 5-0 up, weren't they? And that was the Jacob Murphy meme, wasn't it? We would be like, "What the hell? I've just scored that."
Yeah. Did Anthony Gordon do anything in that game or not?
Did Anthony Gordon play for them? I don't even know.
Yeah, he did. He might have been injured.
Yeah, it doesn't look... Oh, he came on in the 70th minute, so I don't think you can really judge that.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah.
Nice. I do have to make a transfer this week as I am free hitting next week and it won't roll over. So I think the move I'm going to make is probably going to be Bradley out and maybe like Van Heck in with Brighton's double confirmed. Just have another player. Or a Doji would be the other one that I'd go and bring in. 35 double, 37 double for Spurs for next week. I don't think I'd play him this week. I think I'd bench him, but just one for the future so I don't lose that transfer.
Yeah, I like that.
Cool. I'm glad you like that. I think I might put Solanke in.
Yeah, I think Solanke makes sense, to be honest. So I'm just having a little head-to-head look just to see how the games went between Everton and Spurs when Gordon was there. But no, it doesn't seem like he was that... oh my God, 5-4 to Spurs. Do you remember that game in the cup? I know, 5-4 to Everton.
Yeah, I do.
What a day. But no, I don't really think you can judge Gordon. But if you say he had the best game of his life last week, then I'd be confident enough with that information.
Yeah, I think he looked really good. A Turkey in a Bush has raised a very good point that I was going to come on to talk about. The last time there was a 0 in a Chelsea League game scoreline was Gameweek 21. And interestingly, last time they kept a clean sheet at home, I think it was October or December. It's been a while since they've kept a clean sheet at home as Chelsea. So, and I'm there with double Chelsea defence. So make of that what you will. You're gonna.
I wonder how the Chelsea game went last time.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go back and have a look when the last time Chelsea kept a league clean sheet was. Oh, Atletico Madrid are 1-0 up. Rodrigo De Paul.
Lad, they're gonna make it. They're gonna win the Champions League on the sly, aren't they?
They fully are. Shithouse football is gonna prevail once again in Europe, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, fully. Harry Kane will get to the final as well, and it'll be Atletico Madrid that stops him.
Nothing would give me more pleasure, to be honest, if that happened. Right, I'm looking at the last time Chelsea kept a clean sheet at home in the Premier League was. It was the 16th of December against Sheffield United. That is a long time ago. That is a very long time ago.
Especially when you consider the fact that they couldn't keep one against Sheffield last week.
Exactly. So it doesn't bode well for the double Chelsea defence, does it?
No, not at all. But they're playing Everton.
This is the week.
When you need a clean sheet, Everton are the side to play.
No, but DCL's been on this good run, hasn't he? He's been on this good run.
DCL's the next Chris Wood.
A Turkey in a Bush has also put the last Everton game was a 2-0 loss with a Sanchez injury.
I think that was at Goodison, though. I do think it does have a difference.
Fair enough. Hopefully this is the week that Chelsea can break that duck, though, and get a clean sheet.
I think they will. I think Palmer will be too hot for them.
Oh, yeah. What's he wearing if he's too hot?
He's mates with Borat.
Oh, right. A nice little mankini piece, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Did you hear about what happened on my TikTok stream at the weekend?
Oh, you got banned for what was it, sexual content or something?
Yeah, and they upheld the ban as well.
Did they give you a reason for what the sexual content was?
No. They just said I'm banned for sexual content.
How long for?
It's a week-long ban. So,
well, I have been telling you, lad, you need to put a top on before you start.
I can't just be helicoptering on stream.
I know. Lad, you need to wipe your ass in the bathroom, not on the stream.
Oh, what I've basically been doing, right, is like those spinny wheels that people use to like decide stuff, like where they're going on holiday or who they're going to captain. I've just been like helicoptering, and whichever one it lands on, that's who I captain for the week.
Brilliant.
Yeah. The lowbrow humour on this stream.
Thing is, though, if you had a pair of tits, TikTok would love it.
That's all I'm gonna say. All I'm gonna say is, if I had a pair of boobs or I was shaking my ass on a stream, TikTok would be all over it. Giving you guys,
you'd have to have a shaved ass. You'd have to shave your ass.
Yeah. Giving you guys quality FPL advice, though. No. That is sexual.
That is too sexy.
That is dangerous. That is influencing children, and that is not what we want. So, ban me. That's all I'm going to say on that one. Like a Ouija board. That's a quality comment, that, Jamie, from you, lad. Right, let's move on to talk about team data. We did go through this in my preview kind of video. If you haven't checked that out, go and take a look. It's all based around stats for this game week. Now, these are the past 5 game week stats. On the bottom is XG4, and at the top is XG conceded. So these are going to be the best attacks in the league and the worst defences in the league. Starting off with the worst defences, Luton and Burnley on there, pretty self-explanatory. But then the other 3 teams, I'd argue are, teams that we wouldn't expect to see on this list. Aston Villa, West Ham, and rock bottom for the past 5 game weeks, Manchester United with 12.1 XG. What do you make of that, Jake?
I mean, to be fair, I think Liverpool accumulated something over 3 XG against them. So I don't think that's entirely fair for them to be on 12 because they don't play Liverpool every week.
True.
And to be honest with you, as much as they conceded 3 XG to Liverpool, they didn't lose. So I feel like a lot can be said about that. The only thing I would be worried about is that you take that 3 XG away, you're still on just under 9, and you've only played 4 games. So I think that's where it's a little bit worrying for United, is that it's not just the top sides that are getting chances. Everyone is getting chances. That being said, they're not in the worst form in the world. They're just not really... They seem to do so much well and then just capitulate a little bit. I think on top of that, I think Chelsea, I think we've spoken about this before, Chelsea, as you can see on here, they create so many opportunities. Yeah. They just don't put them away all the time. And of course, United were another team Chelsea were another team United faced in their last 4.
Yeah.
It's quite funny, to be honest, that Liverpool and Chelsea are in the top 3 there, considering they've both played United.
Yeah, it's a very, very good point you've made there, to be honest. Jamie's also made a good... Not Jamie. Turkey in the Bush, sorry, has made a good point in the chat. United have conceded 3 penalties in their last 2, which will obviously heavily affect XG, as I think it's like 0.75. Obviously, the Liverpool and then the Palmer 2 penalty as well in midweek. So that will have an influence, but...
You could look at that both ways, though. You can look at it as in like, oh, well, let's just like oh, we'll be kind to them and knock a bit off because of penalties. But then they're conceding penalties way too often. And I know there'll be plenty of fans, United fans maybe mostly, that will claim that all the penalties are really soft. But the thing is, the way that the Premier League is now, all 3 of the penalties that they're talking about were penalties. 100%. As much as you might want to argue it and stuff, but for any side, they are penalties these days. I think the Elliott one was a stonewall penalty. I think the Madueke one, where Dalot touches him from behind, it's a stonewall penalty. He was running so fast, it's a penalty. I can't remember. Oh, it's Chilwell. No, it was Cucurella, wasn't it, against Anthony?
Yeah.
Also a penalty. He doesn't see where he is, and Cucurella gets the ball and goes past him. I mean, if you go back to last weekend, I can't remember who it is, but I know it was Calvin Phillips. He tries to clear the ball. I think it was Anthony Gordon, actually. And he tries to clear the ball, and Anthony Gordon gets his foot in the way, and Calvin Phillips kicks him. In that scenario, I actually thought that wasn't a penalty. Yeah. And I think the main thing about that is Anthony and Calvin Phillips both don't know that the player's there. But the big difference there is Anthony Gordon doesn't get the ball. He just blocks Calvin Phillips from clearing it, whereas Cucurella did touch the ball past Anthony. So, I mean, yeah, as much as you can maybe be sympathetic to some of that XG because of them conceding penalties, and it does bump it up a lot, they shouldn't be conceding that many.
True. Agree with that statement there. Moving on to the best attacks in the league. I think Liverpool, Spurs and Chelsea being there, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. We all know that these teams are very good at attacking. They've got some of the best attacking players in the league. The interesting teams on there, Bournemouth and Fulham. Now, obviously, Bournemouth have played a game more than everyone else on this list, but with them facing Manchester United, who are rock bottom this weekend, starting to build some pretty concrete evidence as why I should be playing Dominic Solanke, and maybe why other people should as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's worthwhile. He scored at Old Trafford. He's at home. He's good at home. Bournemouth are good at home. And you'd like to think that they'd bounce back a little bit. They'd want to bounce back a little bit after losing to Luton. That's not a game they'll be very proud of.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that does bode well for Bournemouth, and maybe not so much for United. That being said, I don't think it is a banker of a win for Bournemouth. I do think United have got something that they have lacked for a while in their attacking force. I do think they're starting to gel together a little bit more, but they do heavily rely on that counter attack and that quick break. And so, if Bournemouth can get things right, they will get plenty of opportunities because they'll probably dominate the possession.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. 100% agree. I don't even think maybe Bournemouth might not win the game, but it kind of looking at this data, you probably would suggest that they should at least score in the game.
Yeah.
Nice.
And if they concede a penalty, probably Solanke on it, although that went well last time.
Oh, yeah, let's not talk about that one. Fulham, the final team on here. Who have they got this week? Is it West Ham?
Don't actually know. I think you're right. I think I saw that for Muniz's little head.
Yeah, I think that's right, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. West Ham away.
Does that maybe give you some confidence to play Muniz this week?
Yeah, I'm gonna play Muniz for the foreseeable. I think the only thing is that Broja, I don't know if he's been injured or something. I saw he came back for a little bit towards the end of the game last week. But they've been in poor form, so I don't know if Silva will want to rotate a little bit, but it does seem like Muniz is someone that he does rely upon at the moment. And West Ham, I do feel like that pitch is absolutely massive. I don't know if it's just deceiving from the telly, but it feels like West Ham's pitch is massive, and they can't be everywhere on the pitch is what I feel. So I feel like there's always a gap and there's always an opening, and that's the same for West Ham. But yeah, so that's probably why they're on that top 5 for most conceded XG. And Fulham are hot and cold. Probably the most hot and cold team in the league this season.
Yeah.
They can beat anyone very convincingly, but they can also lose quite convincingly too. So yeah, it's a hard game to call that, but I would like to think Muniz would get a couple of chances.
Yeah, definitely. I think with Fulham as well, obviously I watched the Newcastle Fulham game, and for the first 25 minutes, it was all Fulham. I think they must have had like 8 attempts with like a few being on target as well, and I genuinely thought this is just going to be a Fulham like strong arm. They're going to absolutely piss this. But then, like you said, they are that very much a hot and cold side, and they just fell away in the game. Maybe Newcastle changed something tactically, but definitely from the offensive side, it seems like they are very much one of these teams that can go and create a lot of opportunities and score. So maybe if you've got a defender playing against Fulham, probably not worth playing for them because they do create plenty of opportunities.
Well, the play so against Newcastle, and Newcastle have been in good form, and they do look like they're getting a bit of confidence again, especially if Isak like staying in the team and maintaining a little bit of fitness.
Yeah.
But Fulham had 67% possession and 1.26 xg, and Newcastle had just under 1 xg. So you could argue it was a little bit smash and grab to some extent, but maybe not for the fact that Newcastle didn't create chances, more for the fact that they took theirs and Fulham didn't.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. Right, let's move on away from teams and take a look at expected points for this week. Maybe if you're unsure who to captain, this model might potentially help you out and see which player is predicted to get the best points this week. Interestingly, a player we've not really mentioned at all tonight, it is Cole Palmer leading the way with 8.1. Haaland, who I said is probably going to be the most captain player this week with 7.9. De Bruyne in third, Salah in fourth, Foden in fifth, and then Son, Odegaard and Luis Diaz. Jake, do you think potentially we're overlooking Palmer in terms of captaincy this week?
Yeah, possibly, because he has been in great form. He's really good at home. He does rally the whole side at Stamford Bridge, so I do get that. I do think though you've got to be wary that Everton don't tend to ship many goals. I assume they're looking at the fact, based on those expected points, that Palmer and Haaland will both score, and of course Palmer's going to get like an extra point for it. So I feel like they're pretty much neck and neck. I think the only thing is really that I would expect Haaland to score a couple of goals if he plays the full game. Whereas if Palmer plays the full game, I could forgive him if he gets a goal or assist, and that'd be him. Whereas Haaland at home to Luton, I really would expect him to get a couple of goals if he does play.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. Obviously, Luton were on the last section as well. I think they're 19th over the past 5 game weeks for XG conceded. Probably the reason why the likes of Haaland, KDB and Foden are all pretty high up on this list because, Luton defensively, they're not at the races.
Yeah, I assume De Bruyne will play as well at the weekend because he didn't even play yesterday.
Did he not? I thought he started.
No.
Oh.
No.
Then maybe you put a spanner in my works.
Let me just double check that.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah, please double check that because that has made me think a little bit.
What am I talking about, lad?
I don't know. Did he play yesterday?
We'll find out.
Still 1-0 to Atletico Madrid.
No, he was an unused sub.
Ah, okay. All right. Maybe, all right, I'm going to ask you this question. If you've got both KDB and Haaland, who would you give the armband to, knowing that Haaland's played a large proportion of the game in midweek? KDB's not played a single minute.
Oh, I think I'd want to wait till your deadline stream, because if I knew he was starting, I would captain Haaland over De Bruyne. It's a tricky one, that, because the thing is, if you captain De Bruyne just for the fact that you'd expect him to play, considering he wasn't played at all yesterday.
Yeah.
He, in that cup game, I'm pretty sure he got all of the assists for all 4 or 5 of Haaland's goals.
He did. He had a pretty kind of fruitful night as well as the big man.
Exactly. So if you've got Haaland and De Bruyne, and you're a bit reluctant to captain Haaland for the fact that he may not play, then maybe it is worth just playing safe and captaining De Bruyne, because he could steal the show, and if he doesn't, and Haaland does, De Bruyne is probably provided it, so you're laughing either way. But I would still be reluctant to take that armband away from Haaland, I think.
Okay, all right. Final player I wanted to discuss, Mo Salah. Crystal Palace, they've not really been pulling up any trees under the new manager. in my personal opinion. I know performances have improved, but results still kind of falling to the side. Liverpool at home, chasing this title down. Is he maybe a player we're overlooking as well, with Haaland having the nice, shiny fixture?
Don't think so. Liverpool are playing tomorrow in the Europa League as well. I feel like that will have an effect on the whole team's performance. I doubt Salah will miss a minute of either game. But yeah, I feel like I can't. The way Liverpool have played recently, they knock on the door plenty of times, but they don't tend to put many away of late. And Salah's been very much criminal for his finishing of late.
Yeah.
Scored 2 in his last 3 and had 40 shots in that time. So yeah, it's him scoring is one thing, but him outscoring the 3 above him, I think, is something that I can't really look past.
Fair enough. I'm actually just going to whack a graphic quickly on screen that I did for another video. Let me just sort this out. It's going to magically appear, and you're gonna love this, lad. Are you ready? We're bashed.
Yeah.
It's done. It is a comparison between Erling Haaland and Mohamed Salah when it loads for you on the YouTube stream. Yeah, I know you're watching a little bit behind, but it is their past 5 game weeks, and Salah is winning in every area. So expected goals, shots on target, shots in the box, expected assists, attempted assists, big chances created. Every single one is going to Mohamed Salah.
Whoa! There it is.
There it is.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Salah's involved though, isn't he? Whereas I feel like with Haaland, if he gets a chance, he tends to score. I think it just shows it there. Like Salah might be outdoing him on everything, but I don't think that necessarily means he's doing very well. They've both scored twice at the end of the day, and Haaland's done it in half the shots. He's also done it with less XG required. So I feel like as much as you can say Salah's involved and stuff, Haaland's still that efficient man. But that being said, having Salah in your side, you'd be more confident that he gets an opportunity, wouldn't you?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Some of the passes he makes as well, especially in the last year or so, he's become sort of like one hell of an assist maker. He must absolutely despise Luis Diaz sometimes.
And Darwin Núñez as well.
Yeah, literally. Like some of the passes he makes are unbelievable.
He's probably wishing, I wish I had Mane back. I wish I had Bobby Firmino back.
Wish I had Haaland.
Yeah, he's probably like, I wish Jota were up front this week. God.
Well, I saw he was apparently he was training, so.
So's Trent and Alisson as well. So the people with Kelleher and Bradley, yeah, it's not looking good.
I don't think we'll see any of them this weekend, though. To be honest.
No, I mean more in terms of kind of double game week 34.
Yeah, double game week is a bit smelly, but we move.
We do move. As 34 free hitters over here. We're going to be looking down on all you scum that don't have a free hit in next game week. Let's answer some of your guys' questions. FPL Shane, another member of the channel, he said, "Morning guys, have enough money to move to Bradley to any defender with game week 34 in mind. Any suggestions?" I think the top one, if he is fully fit and available for this week, has to be Aït-Nouri. You've got an out of position defender who is basically playing up front. Good fixture this week. Then the double. Obviously, the Arsenal game's not great, but they've also got Bournemouth at home in there as well. Then Luton in game week 35 as well. So pretty nice run of free fixtures there for me. In terms of other defenders,
probably Gabriel.
Yeah, probably Gabriel or Saliba. Very good shouts. I even think it might be worth going for the double Arsenal defence, to be honest. If you're looking to dead end as well into 35 and wild card out of it, double Arsenal defence could do very well over those weeks, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. I think another rogue one.
Go on.
Reguilon got 2 assists against Villa. They're playing Sheffield United and then Luton away.
True.
And then Everton, and then Fulham, and then Bournemouth.
Yeah.
2 assists. I know they're not conceding, and they're not keeping clean sheets, but he's finally proving to be that player that he definitely has inside of him. And so, yeah, I think that's probably the best performance he's put in at Brentford. So good time to do it when the fixtures are looking all green.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. A Turkey in a Bush has said top 3 goalkeepers for for 35 onwards. I mean, to be honest, you have to have either probably what's the Chelsea goalkeeper called?
Petrovic,
Nice.
and then probably Vicario.
Yeah, probably they're the two. Onana as well. United have got Burnley, Palace, then the double. That's a pretty good run in.
Yeah, agreed.
Dubravka, another strong shout. Sheffield United, Burnley, double. Brentford in game week 38 as well.
Yeah, I think I would be most inclined to go for. I probably get. It's a weird one because if you're looking for a keeper immediately, I think I would be more inclined to go for someone like Petrovic or Dubravka or someone like that. But then if you can wait a bit, then maybe Vicario would be. I think Vicario would be number 1 from 35 onwards.
Yeah, I get that. If you do have any questions, guys, get them in before me and Jake wrap up the stream. As always, I will be live on for the deadline at I think it's 9 o'clock because it's an early kickoff. Yes, I'll be live on YouTube for the first hour. Well, for the first 2 hours, and then TikTok will kick in for the final hour because that's when the ban will be removed. So yeah, we'll be back on there. We'll be back on that platform. A Turkey in a Bush has also asked, will Ederson begin to return? I think he's back, isn't he? He was on the bench last night, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
I will have a look.
I think he was.
Yes, he was, as was Scott Carson. So I'm not too sure you can bank on Ederson starting.
No. I do think he will be back though. So I think the Ortega dream it's kind of hit its nail on the head, isn't it? To be honest, Ederson will.
I feel like that went over your head a little bit. I was talking about the fact that Scott Carson's a threat.
Oh right. Well, sorry about that, mate. Sorry about that.
I had to force that home, really, didn't
I? FPL Shane said, other move I could do, I'm considering Son to Foden or KDB. KDB was sick for the Champions League game, apparently, he said. So
no, I wouldn't get Son out. If you can afford Foden, I'd probably wait until the deadline, see how he's doing, maybe wait a week because City's run does look great. I'm assuming you can't afford De Bruyne without taking out Son. If you can, do it, but I would not get rid of Son till the end of the season, to be honest.
No, I'd agree with that point as well. With them having the 2 double game weeks as well, I think for both of those game weeks, he offers himself up as a captaincy option as well, because we very much know what he is capable of. He can very easily go and get like a 15, 16, 17 point score. Give him 2 games to go and do that as well. I think it's a very easy captaincy shout.
Yeah. I feel like also you'd only go and shoot yourself in the foot, bring KDB in and he gets benched further down the line.
Yeah.
Son plays every game, doesn't he?
Yeah. I think maybe if you wanted to go and bring the likes of KDB and Foden in, for me, it probably is going to be post-Champions League kind of results. See what happens in this Real game. If they go out, full concentration is going to be on the league. But if they go through, I think it might be one where we just bring them in for 37 and 38.
Yeah. Agreed.
Fair enough. We're going to end the bed shitter of the week poll. So thank you to everyone who did get their votes in for that. The winner this week, with a staggering 52% of the vote, is Gusto. Gavardiol picking up 47. So thank you, YouTube, for taking that 1% in the polls as always. Thank you to everyone who did vote. So Gusto, if you want to come and collect your award for being the bed shitter of Game Week 32, you've got my number. You've got my address. Get your send round here, sunshine. A Turkey in a Bush has also asked, then would it be worth getting Ederson in? Probably not. Let's wait and see till he's back, like fully starting games. Then I think we can make a decision on it.
You're not doing the deadline stream on the Friday for Brentford against Sheffield?
Is that a Friday game?
No, I'm only messing.
Oh, you absolutely shut me up then. I was like, I'm going to have to book that off work. You absolute joker, aren't you? You're an absolute joker, aren't you? What am I going to do?
I'm here all day. Except not before 7:30, though.
No, not before 7:30. You're too busy getting dog shit on your shoe or stuck on a train. So, yeah. Jamie said just the usual poll tax from YouTube. It is indeed. Right, let's move on to highest scoring game of the week. Our favourite question as always. Jake, what's it going to be? What's it going to be, my friend?
It's going to be City Luton, I'm going to say.
All right, okay.
Going to be a bit of a slapping. Maybe like 7-0 Luton.
All right, okay. All right, I can get on board with that. I'm eyeing up Brentford Sheffield United. Now, that's not even a satirical one. Brentford scored 3 in their last game. Sheffield United, Ollie McBurney and Ben Brereton Diaz are cooking at the moment. You know, I'm actually looking at them for the 34 free hit. As weird as that might sound.
Friday night game.
Exactly, it's a cracking Friday night game. But
good job that it's on telly for everyone to watch.
It is indeed. What was I going to say to you? Sheffield United players, have they caught your eye for free hit 34?
Yeah. I think I'm going to bring Big Ben in. I think it'd be rude not to bring Big Ben in next week.
Yeah, I think I might be with you. You know, but that Burnley game, they've got Burnley, lad, and United, who we've just seen defensively all over the shop.
McBurney scored a late equaliser against United, if I'm not mistaken, a few years ago.
What I'm hearing then is the double up on Sheffield United assets.
You know what, though? That might not even be the stupidest thing in the whole wide world that we've done.
I'm genuinely looking at it going, that might be an option. Because realistically, right, our free hits are going to have like 11 doublers in, right? So we're going to have triple Arsenal. We're going to have triple Liverpool. You're probably going to have Dominic Solanke.
I think I'm going to put Eze in.
Yeah, Eze will probably go in. I mean, DCL might make his way in. Depends if he continues to score, but
probably be tempted if you've got the money to maybe put Watkins in still.
Yeah, I mean, Wolves have got if Cunha's back, but he's been just about coming off the bench. So do I expect him to play both games? Probably not.
But then that doesn't sound like 11 players. That sounds like 9, and it sounds like a midfielder and striker option are available.
Exactly. So I'm thinking Ollie McBurney and Ben Brereton Diaz are going to be the ones.
Yeah. I think a captain's armband would look quite good on Ollie McBurney.
I think it would. I think it really would. King Kai for the free hit, surely, he said, against his old club as well. That'd be a shout. That would be a shout.
He's in good form at the moment, to be fair.
He is indeed. And then Richarlison get a brace against Everton.
Bloody hell. He did that. He literally did it.
He did. Turkey in a Bush says, when Mansfield get to the Prem, what assets should we consider bringing in? There's only one man. It's Lucas Akins. No one else. Unless there's any final questions from anyone in the chat or any final statements Jake wants to make, I think we are going to wrap it up there, guys. Jake, any final thoughts from you, mate, ahead of this game week?
No, all good. Thanks, mate. Need to nip to the shop anyway and get some deep heat. I've strained my shoulder a little bit today.
Oh, no. Well, once this stream's finished, I'll get the oil massage out. I'll just give you a quick rub down. Maybe this is why I got banned on TikTok. This sort of chatter. Yeah, we need to stop flirting, and just be. If we're open with it, they'll be more accepting of it. I feel it's because it's a bit closeted. They're a little bit like, not so sure about that one.
Yeah. Well. Even so, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Like I said, there will be a deadline stream on Saturday on YouTube and TikTok. So if you do have any questions about your team, come along to that. As always, your support is massively appreciated by both me and Jake. But yeah, thank you very much from me.
Thank you very much from me.
See you next week, guys. Bye-bye.